But let's go straight across to the big breaking news at this moment, where seat-sharing talks between the two major alliances are stuck at the moment in the battleground state of Bihar. That's right. Chirag Paswan has now threatened to hold an emergency meeting. He's upset that he hasn't been given enough seats. Remember, the Lok Janshakti Party is an ally of the NDA. So Chirag Paswan is the first to protest against, he says, being given far too few seats. In the India bloc, the left parties, particularly the CPI-ML, an important constituent, are demanding more seats from the RJD-Congress combined. So both combines having challenges, but the bigger challenge at the moment is before the NDA, because Chirag Paswan is playing hardball. Let's go straight across to our correspondents. Maushmi Singh is in Delhi, Rohit Singh is in Patna. Rohit, to you first. Chirag Paswan, we are told, walked out of the meeting today, is planning to hold an emergency meeting. 243 seats. How many seats does Chirag Paswan want, and is he serious about pushing for more? Is this only a bargaining tactic?
Well, Rajdeep, at this point of time, it looks more of a pressure tactics that is being applied by Chirag Paswan on the BJP, because remember, Chirag Paswan is a minister in the Narendra Modi cabinet also. So we should remember that, and that is why we are seeing that Chirag Paswan is bargaining hard. He now, according to sources, what we know is that wants at least 35 seats in this seat sharing agreement. But what the BJP is offering right now is about 27 to 28 seats. And that is why we are seeing that Chirag is trying to make a posture that he is very upset about all the seat sharing negotiation that is going on. And in that context, he has also called for an emergency meeting of his party in Patna tomorrow morning 10 a.m. However, Chirag will not be present in that meeting because he's flying to Delhi tonight itself, but his other party MPs, other top officials will be in attendance in that meeting, and it is being seen that maybe some decisions, a big decision can be taken in this meeting. But what we are learning is that this is just a simple pressure tactics that is being applied by Chirag on the BJP to get more and more seats.
Right. Remember, Chirag Paswan contested the last elections in 2020 on his own, got about 5.5% of the vote, but he is a key member of the NDA alliance. If he were to fight on his own, it could upset the NDA's equations to retain power in Bihar. I want to go then to Maushmi Singh, who's tracking what's happening in the India bloc. Maushmi Singh, we are hearing reports that the CPI-ML in particular is upset by the number of seats they are being offered. They are an important constituent. The Congress last time got 70 seats, won only 19. RJD not inclined to give the Congress as many seats as last time. What are you picking up?
Well, I can tell you, Rajdeep, that it's not as tense as the NDA camp, but of course that camp is in power. But there's a lot brewing. 3 rounds of alliance talks between the India bloc have actually led to no consensus. And so the Congress held a CEC meeting in Delhi after that to send in a firm message to the allies. Mukesh Sahni is in blinking. He says that if Congress is wanting 60 seats, then why not me? Because the Congress is hardly there on the ground. And there is a lot of speculation and distrust over whether the smaller players are being pitted against the Congress party by the RJD. And as you mentioned, the left wants a fair share of the pie, but is being told to understand that if RJD and Congress will actually share some seats from its kitty for Mukesh Sahni, they can be happy. The left can be happy with what they got last time, and the seats aren't reducing. So a lot of understanding and misunderstanding also prevailing here.
Okay, interesting, because remember, this is a battle of alliances at the moment. The two principal alliances, there's Prashant Kishore also, but clearly seat sharing is becoming a major hurdle in Bihar. Maushmi Singh, Rohit Singh for joining me. Appreciate your joining me. Let me turn from there to another of my top stories today. Today was a big day for the maximum city, the city of Mumbai, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a slew of infrastructure projects. The big one was the Navi Mumbai International Airport. This is the gold standard, we are told, of international airports. The extension of the original Chhatrapati Shivaji Airport in Mumbai now goes to Navi Mumbai or New Mumbai. It's an airport, remember, which has been built by the Adani Group, and Prime Minister was there to inaugurate it. It was also the day where the final phase of the Mumbai Metro Phase 3 that connects North and South Mumbai, the first fully underground metro rail network that connects two very distinct parts of the city, has also been completed with an integrated common ticketing app for easier mobility. And Mumbai clearly therefore looking to grab the headlines this time for infrastructure under the Devendra Fadnavis government. But the question is all this simply the glitter on the top? What lies below? Is there grime that lies below? The pothole roads, for example. We decided to send our reporters to give you two sides of the story. The gleaming Mumbai and the not so gleaming Mumbai. Take a look.
A new airport and a new metro line. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated two landmarks in Mumbai on Wednesday. The Navi Mumbai International Airport, expected to be functional from December, once completed, will have a capacity to handle 9 crore passengers a year. The final phase of Mumbai Metro Line 3, the city's first fully underground one, connects RA to Cuff Parade.
अब ये मेट्रो लाइन बनने से 2-2.5 घंटे का सफर 30-40 मिनट में हो जाएगा। पिछले 11 वर्षों से देशवासियों का जीवन आसान बनाने पर, ईज ऑफ लिविंग पर बहुत अधिक जोर दिया जा रहा है। आज देश वन नेशन वन मोबिलिटी की दिशा में आगे बढ़ रहा है।
While the metro will significantly cut down travel time from North Mumbai to South Mumbai, opinion is divided on the impact it will have.
Despite all this infrastructure development happening all over Mumbai, but the public habits are not changing. For instance, get down at this Airport Road metro station and I have to go to the T2 terminal. There is no connectivity. So therefore, the last mile connectivity is one of the important issue.
जो कस्टमर है हमारे जवेरी बाजार के, उनको आने जाने में अच्छी सुविधा हो जाएगी। दूसरा है ये जो ट्रैफिक है, ये थोड़ा काफ़ी कम हो जाएगा। जो लोग ज़्यादातर गाड़ियों में ट्रैवल करते हैं, टैक्सी है, सब अंदर ये बहुत भीड़ भाड़ वाला एरिया है, उससे काफ़ी फर्क पड़ेगा।
कम से कम 1.5 लाख आदमी आते, उनकी व्यवस्था कुछ कर नहीं सक रहे अपन। तो अभी इनको मेट्रो से आपको क्या लगता है कुछ फायदा होएगा? बिल्कुल फायदा नहीं होगा। मैं चाहता हूँ कि सरकार इसको ट्रैफिक को और इस एरिया के पब्लिक को जो है उसको व्यवस्थित डाइवर्स करे तो ये काम हो सकता है। मेट्रो से कोई इतना फायदा होने वाला है।
Citizens have reasons to be wary. Just a month and a half ago, India's financial capital hit national headlines for waterlogging. A few hours of overnight rains had the city on its knees. Not to mention the potholed roads that have become the eyesore that the public and the administration have got used to. Or the overcrowded Mumbai local trains that remains the city's lifeline, which incidentally saw 5 deaths in June when passengers fell off a moving train. Which of these Mumbais do you belong to? The rising Mumbai or the sinking Mumbai? For the Aam Mumbaikar, there are no easy answers. With Mustafa Sheikh and Divesh Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's raise the big questions tonight. Is India's commercial capital a sinking city or now a rising city? Has the Fadnavis government changed Mumbai's skyline forever? What are the challenges before Mumbai? How can Mumbai solve its infrastructure mess in particular? Joining me now are three special guests. I'm joined by Kaustubh Dhause. He's Chief Advisor to the Maharashtra Chief Minister on Investments and Strategy. Smriti Kopikar is Founder, Editor, Question of Cities. Sudhir Badami is an activist and structural engineer who's written a book on Mumbai's transport systems. I appreciate all of you joining us. Let's separate this into two parts, Kaustubh, and start with the Navi Mumbai airport. Do you believe, as the Prime Minister said today, that this will transform an entire region, including the Konkan belt? You now have an airport which is with a world-class infrastructure, but will it actually meet the needs, you believe, of an ever-expanding city like Mumbai?
Oh, absolutely. Today is a historic day, to say the least. As a Mumbaikar who was born in Dadan and raised in Andheri, I remember my father telling me in the 90s that there is an airport that is going to come, and we have waited for decades for the right leadership and the execution to come into place. And today is an absolute celebration. The airport is not just an infrastructure project, it's a force multiplier on the economy. I mean, imagine, Rajdeep, we had our first airport in Mumbai in the 50s, and then the T2 came in 2010, 2011, and now we have a terminal which will eventually service 9 million passengers. So if you add all the three together, we will be serving more than more than 150 million passengers annually. I mean, this is a remarkably large figure. So, in terms of the volume of the business and the trade, this is a golden era which has started, and I am so happy that being part of executing it and also seeing it today as a Mumbaikar. It's a truly emotional moment for me, and as a citizen, I think I am absolutely indebted to our leadership, both administrative and political, to the people of Mumbai who really have lived through hell while the execution of this project was going on, and it's time to celebrate now.
You're calling it a celebration. Smriti Kopikar, at the moment, I want to focus first on this new international airport. Do you believe it's a moment to celebrate that, as Kaustubh puts it, Mumbai desperately needed another airport hub? The country's commercial capital couldn't work through just the first two terminals that you had existingly. You needed a brand new airport. Would you say it's a cause for celebrations, or do you believe it will only benefit very few in a city of more than 25 million people if you include the outer Mumbai as well?
Um, Thank you, Rajdeep. This issue goes well beyond the celebration of a new airport. I'm sure studies were done that showed that we needed a larger, newer airport, and it got built. So kudos to that. But to make it sound like because of that airport and one metro line, Mumbai has suddenly become this fantastic, great rising city, I think would be well off the mark for two or three reasons. And let me list them out. The first is that in the past few years, we've seen what is called a project led development of the city. It's not the city's development as a whole, but project led development. So you have project XYZ, you have project 1, 2, 3, and they benefit a certain class, a certain group of people, and it is marketed as if it benefits all of Mumbai. It doesn't. Number two, very clearly, when we say that there are these, multi-million, multi-crore infrastructure projects that Mumbai needed, sure. But why are we concentrating? Why have governments been focused and concentrating on these big ticket, marquee kind of projects? I want to place one simple fact. 54% of the fatalities in Mumbai in 2023 and 2024 were of pedestrians. Where is the pedestrian walking infrastructure? Why is that not part of the infrastructure development? Not just for the last 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Where is that? We don't have pavements to walk. People fall into ditches, children fall, get injured, are killed. You had a report that showed that 5 people died of falling off the trains. 2,500 people die in Mumbai every year because of railway trains and the way they are forced to travel in the trains. So where is that infrastructure upgrade? We're not seeing that. That's the second. Number three, is there has been a very steady public fund and private gain in the way Mumbai's infrastructure has been planned and built in the past few years. And I'll give here the example of the coastal road, which is largely a public funded project. By the time it is completely done from one end of the city to the other, quite possible that the city would have spent something close to 50, 60,000 crores. Which part of the public in Mumbai uses it? How many of us really have cars and drive on the coastal road? Why doesn't some of this attention, resources, and planning go into boosting something like the BST bus service, on which 3.5 million Mumbaikars depend every single day? And this very government, under this very government, in the last 10 years, we have seen a very steady decline of the BST. That was the network that kept Mumbai going even through COVID. 100
Let-
drivers and conductors lost their lives. So why are we
You've raised-
celebrating one airport but ignoring pavements, BST, and everything else in between?
You've raised several points, and I think Kaustubh, because he's in charge of infrastructure, needs to respond. Kaustubh, is this a conscious plan that the government has made that, look, we are putting in place this large world-class airport, we are putting in place the metro infrastructure. Now you've got critics who are saying what happens to BST, what happens to pavements, what happens to public funding for private gain with the coastal road. Is the government aware of this criticism? What is the government's larger strategy for Mumbai?
No, government is absolutely focused on driving an equitable, sense of governance, and every strata of society is being touched on. We have an increasing demand for aviation connectivity, and that is being served. We have an increasing demand for green mobility, and that is being served through the metros. We had a history of 11 kilometers in 11 years when we built the Warsaw to Ghatkopar metro. It's a shameful statistics, to say the least. And in the last 4 years, between 14 and 19, we put into together 373 kilometers of metro network under process and construction. So metros are at some point in time, maybe by 2027, will almost parallel the carrying capacity of the suburban railway network. Suburban railway network carry about, I think, about 90 lakh people today. So metro will almost equally, share that load. And this is common Mumbaikars. I mean, I grew up traveling in a suburban, and
So will it shift
we
people?
use metro.
Will it
So
shift
the point is,
commuters from the old
yeah,
suburban rail network and buses?
no, I think
Is the
I think
aim
it's a
that you will
behavioral change.
shift commuters from the old suburban trains and BST?
The idea basically is that metro has a very different purpose. It connects to the inters of the city, and suburban has a different purpose. So my sense is that both coexist and both are necessary. They serve the people of Mumbai, and Mumbai people care about it. We have numbers to say that the utilization has been significant. And when the ladies talked about the open spaces, I mean, recently we declared about 70 hectares of a road next to the coastal road. That's one part of the development. So there are government doesn't just focus on large infrastructure projects. Government is only not focused on a particular section of the society. I think that's a very narrow and a very pinpointed view of of government. When you govern, you have to have an equitable sense of governance, and each and every strata has to be touched. And I agree that there are issues related to the quality of best services that we have. I know there are issues related to the roads that we have, but these are things that need to be resolved. And my sense is that we have been able to solve complex problems like the projects we have delivered, whether it's Atal Setu, the underground metro, whether it's the coastal road. These problems are not as complicated. They are intertwined in the bureaucratic and the issues related to that. So my sense is that it is, I don't have a
Okay.
logical answer to say that why not, but I'm 100% certain, 100% certain as a Mumbaikar and as somebody working in the government, that this particular issue will be taken and will be resolved once and for all, and to address every single strata or every single section of the society.
Sudhir Badami, as someone who's written a book on Mumbai's transport system, and I'm focusing on Mumbai, but this could be any part of the country, do you believe that the present transport system with now the metro coming in is equitable? That's the whole question, that every Mumbaikar should benefit, not just those who travel along the coastal road in their SUVs, but every Mumbaikar will benefit. That's what Kaustubh says, that they are intertwined. Do you believe they are intertwined or not?
They are intertwined. Only thing is that the twines for the Aam Janta, the largest population, is very, very thin string, while the others are quite heavy. So the benefit is only one-sided. That's why I had to write down a book to let people know in authority what is equitable solution. And that is what I expected the chief minister to read and call me up for a meeting, which Mr. Kaustubh Dause has not invited me over to talk to him or to meet the chief minister. If they read through the book seriously, you'll find that I have provided a wide range of solutions, which is what Smriti has talked about, is there in the book. And I think we must try and at least be open to discussing things.
No,
They
no,
are
but
not
beyond the book, I want to. So, if you want to say what, Mr. Badabi, if you want to say 1, 2, 3, what are the 3 solutions? What do you believe? Because now I'm showing you pictures of the older Mumbai, waterlogged rail tracks, potholes. We'll show you pictures of the potholes on the road. These are problems of urban governance. How are you going to fix urban governance? That's the real challenge.
Potholes can be taken care of. There are instances when the potholes increase, just like this year, the rains have been too heavy and continuous with practically no sun in Mumbai. Continuously, we have been having rains and cloud cover. So this was expected to happen.
How would you fix the transport? How would you fix the transport? How would you fix the transport issue, sir? Give me the one solution that you believe top of the mind to fix transport.
Is to provide last mile connectivity, if you may call it, but it is a connectivity which through microbus is what I felt, because it reaches out quickly in narrow lanes near stations where the crowd is pretty high, and that can be evicted quickly. Microbus is the answer. But more important thing is we have to understand that the capacity, what we talk about is hourly capacity of metro rail, does not measure up to the needed capacity to take care of the overload of railways. That is why the metro came into being more than 10 years back, or maybe 15 years back. I think I was trying to go for BRTS, but today we have got one more point to consider. We have to see that the number of cars on the road are reduced, and that also is provided in the book, because I say that provide BRTS for premium class of commuters. So they get onto the BRTS and leave the roads free, for which you then charge congestion charges. I also believe that we should not be overtaxing people unnecessarily.
Okay, let me bring in. You make a valid point there. How do you make a valid point? How do you reduce cars on the road? Some cities like London in particular have been very successful, Smriti, in terms of trying to ensure that at least the city's main hubs are free relatively of traffic congestion. But just the sheer size and volume of Mumbai, surely, Smriti, needs new solutions. And therefore, you've got to surely welcome, even if it's a metro line which may not fulfill the aspirations of all Mumbaikars, at least it's a step up compared to what the situation was a decade ago.
Oh, absolutely. I am not decrying the fact that Mumbai needed a metro network. I don't belong to that group at all. Nor am I saying that Mumbai did not need a brand new large international airport. I'm saying very clearly there is a selectivity in the choice of infrastructure that governments of the past decade have chosen to put their resources into. And that selectivity has come to hurt the entire city of Mumbai. It is hurting the BST, which takes 3.5 million people a day, every single day. We're talking of millions using the airport. Sure, those millions need the airport. But why are you also not thinking of the 3.5 million BST commuters? Why are you also not thinking of making rail travel safer for the 7.5 million commuters every day? My point is on selectivity. And the selectivity comes right down to the infrastructure that we already have, including, and let me put this on the table for all your viewers, The underground metro line that the Prime Minister inaugurated today, a part of it has been functional for well over 6 months, of which for the majority of time, if you are a customer of certain mobile providers, you don't get connectivity in the underground line. If you are a customer of one particular provider, you get that. But if you're an Airtel provider, you don't get, Airtel customer, you go without connectivity in this super connected Mumbai for 45 minutes, for 1 hour of your commute. And don't say that London Underground, London Tube doesn't have connectivity. Don't compare the Mumbai Metro that was brand new, spanking, gleaming, inaugurated today with London's tube, which has been in operation for 150 years. There is no comparison. And I'm not somebody who's going to take down, a government because there is waterlogging after rain. Practically no city in the world, Rajdeep, can handle this kind of intense rainfall in a very short period of time. There is going to be urban floods. There is going to be waterlogging. Even more critical, why we need to pay closer attention to mass infrastructure. And I come back and I will end the point on selectivity. Please
Okay,
make
I've taken
airports,
your
please
point.
make metro lines, but please
Okay,
also
so
pay attention to pavements, cycling tracks. They built a cycling track in Bandra Kurla complex, BKC. That track did not lead out of BKC to any other point. So how are cyclists supposed to even get to BKC if you wanted to cycle there, right? And therefore, this kind of very tunnel vision, project-led, singular project celebration, I don't think that sits very well.
I therefore want to ask you, Kaustubh, in conclusion, because you made the point that, Smriti's made the point that we are using public resources for private gain. That there are a few people who will end up making possibly windfall profits. How does the government respond to that? Because ultimately the city has to be for every Mumbaiker's convenience. Therefore, rather than being single project focused, it's got to be integrated. Is there an integrated plan, and can you give us a vision for the plan over the next decade?
Absolutely, there is an integrated plan. You cannot govern or function a city with a singular objective on certain projects. I hear Smritiji's views and the point she makes. Whenever you decide something for a city, it has to be holistic. There are various facets that need to be taken into consideration. You also have to do a re-evaluation of what projects to pursue, what not to pursue. Like, for example, we did not pursue the metro rail project simply because we did not believe that it is really a mass transport kind of an ecosystem build out. So we choose the projects wisely, and there is always a holistic plan around the whole thing, because you have to prepare your city for you have to make it resilient and sustainable. Climate change is real, and we are facing the wrath of climate change, and cities have to ensure that the mangroves are protected, that projects are built with a sense of control on climate. So all of these factors are taken into consideration. Every single project that we have built, we have given enough
So to give one
consideration to make
example,
sure.
BST buses. Will the BST bus, to give one example, BST
Yeah,
bus system, which is used by
BST
common
buses
citizens,
are
will that be
undergoing a massive,
upgraded over the next decade?
has to be 100%. BST buses are undergoing a massive transformation. A huge amount of electrification is happening, and significant amount of procurement. But here is what the difference is, and the chief minister always says this: before starting any project or before starting anything, he always gives this guidance to officers that people need to make sure that service delivery has to improve, and steps need to be taken in order to do that. And yes, there have been challenges, but I think it's an incremental process. We have had certain wins, and then there are obviously certain
Okay.
things that we need to tighten up. Most importantly, I can assure you and all the audiences, Rajdeep, that we are building the city for the future. Mumbai will be a world city, and I can assure you that it will be dynamic, it will be resilient, and it will be 100%
Okay.
unstoppable.
I don't want to sound cynical, but I remember many years ago Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister claiming he would make Mumbai a Shanghai. That worried me at the time, and therefore I get worried. Maybe I've been a cynical Mumbaikar over the years, but I only wish the best for the city. And I hope, Kaustubh, you can organize that meeting for Mr. Badami with the Chief Minister so that his ideas also can be shared. Citizens' ideas need to be shared. I've run out of time, I'm afraid, but I appreciate my guest joining me. We want to see a better futuristic Mumbai is the message. Thank you all very much for joining me. I want to turn from there to what I am now calling an India Today campaign here on News Today. We are going to continuously focus over the next few days and weeks on what's been happening with the cough syrup deaths. Remember, more than 20 deaths have taken place in Madhya Pradesh, in Rajasthan, all of which are now raising very, very serious questions. In Rajasthan alone, over the past year, hundreds of drug samples have failed quality tests. What's worse, most of the probes have only begun after the state's drug controller was suspended. Our special report from Sharad Kumar.
Contaminated cough syrup killing children has made headlines. But the truth runs deeper. Every year, millions may be falling victim to counterfeit and substandard drugs. Rajasthan's Drug Control Department has unearthed a trail of shocking findings. Medicines that are meant to heal are in fact harming patients. When India Today examined the department's working, it found labs conducting tests, report being filed, but no action taken. The list is long and disturbing. Antibiotics. 6 batches failed. Over 1 lakh tablets from MediRich Limited were sold before detection. Steroids saw 3 batches failing. Medivil Biotech sold 30,000 doses. Anti-allergics saw 4 batches failing. Theravin formulation sold 35,000 units. Anti-diabetics saw 3 batches failing. Relief Biotech sold 18,000 tablets. 3 batches of painkillers failed. Ipca Laboratories sold 20,000 of them. 8 batches of supplements failed. FE Parenteral sold 40,000 units. Antacids saw 3 batches failing, of which 15,000 units were sold by Aristo Pharma. And 2 batches of cardiac drugs failed, out of which MX Pharma sold 10,000 tablets. So from stomachache pills to ear drops, from injectables to vitamin syrups, some had missing salts, others were infected fluids.
जब हम टेस्ट कर लेते हैं, टेस्ट लेने के टाइम में एक खाने के पदार्थ नहीं कि देखते ही पता चल जाएगा कि इसका रिपोर्ट ये आने वाला है और सारा हम होल्ड में तब नहीं रख सकते. पैन इंडिया या कोई भी पर्टिकुलर चीज पे सैंपल का हम ड्रॉ करते ही स्टॉप करने का कोई प्रावधान नहीं है.
By law, every failed sample must lead to a court case. By rule, every report must be escalated to the Central Drug Laboratory in Kolkata for a nationwide ban. But none of that happened. Instead, reports gathered dust until the state's drug controller himself was suspended.
राष्ट्रीय स्तर के ऊपर हमारी ये जो सूचना है वो DCDI को भी भिजवाते हैं. वहाँ से हमारे जो ग्रुप्स बनाए रेगुलेटरी का, उसके मार्फत से इमीडिएटली कोई भी दवाई अगर स्पूरियस डिक्लेयर हुई है या एडल्ट्रेशन उसके अंदर पाया गया है तो हमारे ग्रुप में सर्कुलेट हो जाता है और उस बेसिस के ऊपर सभी जगह पे कार्रवाई एक साथ हो जाती है इसके.
There's hardly any disease left for which fake or substandard medicines have not been caught. Yet the government response remains slow and fragmented. By the time a ban is imposed, lakhs have already swallowed the risk. So while we worry about contaminated cough syrups, the truth is the problem is much bigger. From antibiotics to painkillers, fake medicines are finding their way to your cabinet. And until India fixes its drug control system, every pill could be a potential gamble with life. With Sharad Kumar in Jaipur, Bureau Report, India Today.
And let's get you the very latest then on the cough syrup deaths. The death toll in Madhya Pradesh now has reached 20. 20 innocent children have been poisoned because of a cough syrup that was prescribed to them. The Indian Medical Association has now written to the Health Minister, condemned the arrest of the doctor in Madhya Pradesh. Remember, the doctor has been arrested, but no action has been taken against the various drug regulator agencies or indeed the pharma firm. And the Telangana Drugs Control Administration has just banned 2 syrups, Relife and Respi Fresh. Will the pharma companies be held accountable, or will the doctors only be the scapegoat? Is the question I want to raise. Dr. Dilip Bhanushali, President Indian Medical Association, joining me. Dr. Viranchi Shah is National Spokesperson, Indian Drug Manufacturing Association. Appreciate both of you joining us. Dr. Bhanushali, how is the Indian Medical Association seeing this? Do you believe doctors are the scapegoat and the pharma companies are getting away?
You have rightly said, doctor has become the scapegoat. If you remember, a terrorist has been given an appointment with opening of Supreme Court night 2 o'clock for a bail. And our doctor has failed to get a bail today. Why? Because you know what is the reason behind it. He has become the scapegoat.
Yeah, so
in what we
what is the reason? You tell us. You're saying that why have the doctors been made a scapegoat? Tell us why you believe doctors have been made the scapegoat?
You tell me, why is the hospital responsible for the adulteration of the drug? Adulteration of that medicine. In what way doctor is concerned? So the manufacturer, the drug controller...
So who should be arrested according to you?
The drug controllers, the manufacturers, suppliers, right, doctors. The first thing they did was at night 2 o'clock they arrested the doctor. And what did the government do? The government suspended...
I want to bring in Dr. Viranchi. I want to bring in Dr. Viranchi Shah. Dr. Shah, you want to tell us, according to the Indian Medical Association, the pharmaceutical company based in Tamil Nadu must pay the penalty. So should the drug controller in Tamil Nadu, and indeed those at the center who allowed these drugs to be prescribed. Do you believe that the drug manufacturers have much to answer for?
So, Rajdeep, thank you for having IDMA on this discussion. This is a very serious discussion where we have lost a number of lives, and every life is important, and we all understand the gravity of this situation. But unless we come to a conclusion on the investigation that is going on, which means that there is an investigation going on the drug companies, there are investigations going on with the doctors, what kind of prescriptions were given, whether it was given a right dose or not. There are so many questions unanswered as we speak today. And unless we get the answers to this question, I don't think it would be right to say whether in general, whether the drug companies are at fault or the doctors are at fault or both are at fault. It could be anything. So I think we have some experts who are already looking into it.
One minute. Yes. Yeah, there is no proof. No, 1 minute, sir. No, 1 minute. There is no... If the evidence at the moment prima facie is pointing towards drug adulteration taking place at the level of the manufacturer, at the moment prima facie is what it is suggested in the case of cough syrup. The point the doctors are making is, why is the doctor being held responsible? Are the pharma companies getting away? You know, the pharma companies are way too powerful compared to some doctor in Chhindwara.
Sir, this is not you versus me here. So I'm not here to say whether the doctor is wrong or we are right or the other way around. My point is very simple. We should wait for a proper investigation. Right. This is a very serious issue. And unless we have all the facts of the biopsies, autopsies, the post-mortem, the drug sample analysis, everything is there, it would be too early to say who was wrong. Now, coming to your question on specifically on the quality of a specific product coming from Tamil Nadu, it looks prima facie, as you said, that the cough syrup was indeed contaminated with diethylene glycol or ethylene glycol above the permissible limits. We don't know as yet if that was the cause of death, but even if it is so and it is above the limits, as per the Drug Act, the manufacturer is liable for penal action, and it happens. So for an adulteration, the minimum amount of penalty is 7 years of rigorous imprisonment as per the Drug and Cosmetics Act. And there are enough safeguards in the Drug Act to get hold of such people if they have made mistakes. But again, as I said, we should wait, specifically when we say that there are deaths of so many children, for a proper scientific investigation. And we have to all work together rather than whether A is against B or B is against C, to ensure that when we say that India is the pharmacy of the world, Rajdeep, and we supply essential medicines to almost 200 countries. US is our largest customer, for example. Most mature markets do import essential drugs from India. So it's not that we don't have the capabilities, but we have to understand, even if this happens, what are the gaps? And I'm sure the highest offices in India are working along with the industry, with the trade, with the doctors, and we should try to find out the real culprits.
Sir, with due regard, Dr. Shah, no one is labeling all drug manufacturers in India with the same brush. But we exposed yesterday the kind of plant in which this drug was being manufactured in Tamil Nadu in the most unhygienic conditions. That's my point. And the fact is, this was not going on for the last few months. It's been going on for years. And yesterday I had a leading expert on drug regulation who's saying that this is not some isolated case. Therefore, there is a serious problem with particularly small firms which are cost cutting and thereby putting drugs and the lives of people at risk with low quality, low cost drugs.
I absolutely agree. I'm not defending the manufacturer. I'm not saying that what they have done is because of this reason or that. If that is the case, and I am sure it has already been shut down. And you must be aware that India has already upgraded its GMP requirements, which we know popularly as the Schedule M. It is going to be in effect from the 1st. For most of the companies who are in the large and medium segment, it is already in effect today. For the small companies, because we had to give them more time and more resources to cope up, it is going to be in effect from the 1st of January, which is the revised Schedule M. So a lot of steps have already been taken proactively. And if there are gaps, I'm 100% sure that IDMA, Industry Association, regulators and government all work to ensure that if there are these gaps, we have to plug them up. I'm not defending them. What I'm trying to only point out is that we should wait for
I will take your word. I will take your word as the spokesperson of IDMA. I want to give a final word to Dr. Bhanushali. Are you confident? Are you worried, Dr. Bhanushali, that there are lots of gaps within the system? That what happened in Madhya Pradesh and now Rajasthan could happen in any other part of the country? Okay, I think we've lost Dr. Bhanushali there, but I appreciate my guest joining me here. My simple question to you, do you believe that there needs to be a complete overhaul of the drug regulatory systems?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. The drug regulatory system should be overhauled throughout the country. Okay. Not only for this cough syrup, but all the drugs we may use for pediatrics.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate my guest joining us. As I said, we will continue to focus on this. We will travel across the country to look at the way drug manufacturing in some parts of the country needs to be re-looked at. Thank you both very much for joining me. To another of our top stories, deep divisions have now surfaced within Tata Trust, the body which has a 2/3 stake in Tata Sons, India's biggest conglomerate. And the battle has now shifted even to Delhi, with the union government getting involved. Noel Tata and Tata Sons chairperson N. Chandrasekaran meeting with the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Home Minister Amit Shah. Why is the government getting involved in what is a boardroom battle? Our Business Today team has this report.
Even before a year has passed since Ratan Tata's passing, India's most iconic business house finds itself in turmoil. On the eve of his first death anniversary, the Tata Group is battling a storm within. One that has now drawn the attention of the country's top political leadership. Top Tata honchos on Tuesday night met Home Minister Amit Shah and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in a clear indication of the government's unease with the tempest in Tata Trust, which owns 2/3 of Tata Sons. According to reports, the government is understood to have delivered a clear message in the 45-minute meeting at the Home Minister's residence. Restore stability at Bombay House and prevent the internal discord from spilling over into Tata Sons. The closed-door meeting was attended by Tata Trust Chairman Noel Tata,
Vice Chairman Venu Srinivasan, Tata Sons Chairman N. Chandrasekharan, and Trustee Darius Khambata. The divide at the Tata Trust runs deep between Noel Tata, N. Chandrasekharan, and Venu Srinivasan, who is also the Chairman Emeritus of TVS Motor, reportedly on one side, and Mehli Mistry, Pramit Jhaveri, Darius Khambata, and Jahangir H.C. Jahangir on the other. Reports suggest that the trust has been divided since the passing of Ratan Tata last year. There are allegations that the opposing camp led by Tata Group veteran Mehli Mistry has attempted to undermine Noel Tata's leadership, acting as a super board by trying to vet board meeting minutes and approve independent directors shortlisted by Tata Sons Nomination and Remuneration Committee. There are also allegations of opacity and exclusion in key decisions and deepening mistrust among trustees. Such moves have raised serious corporate governance concerns within the organization. The rift has become more apparent in the recent months. The government's concern that these divisions could destabilize Tata Sons, the holding company of a conglomerate that defines Indian business. From software to steel, power to automobiles, the Tata Group is the backbone of corporate India. With a combined market capitalization of over 40 lakh crore rupees, even small tremors within the group can shake investor confidence. Reports also say the centre has also discussed the RBI's mandate for listing Tata Sons and the liquidity concerns of the Shapoorji Pallonji Group, the second largest shareholder in the conglomerate. But the primary message was unmistakable. The Tata Trust must act decisively to end the internal power struggle. Meanwhile, even as the Tata Sons standoff continues, preparations were underway for remembrance events marking the first anniversary of Ratan Tata's death. A man whose vision and integrity defined the group for decades and who is now certainly being missed by Tata Group investors. Bureau Report, Business Today TV.
Okay, let's turn to tonight's Get Real India story. It's a shocker from the national capital. An RTI filed by my colleague Ashok Upadhyay at India Today reveals that nearly one-third, listen carefully, one-third of ventilators in major Delhi government hospitals are out of order. The renowned Lok Nayak Hospital has the biggest shortfall with over 70 ventilators non-functional. The government insists the ventilators are working. What's the reality? And if this is happening in our national capital, what will happen in smaller towns? Take a look at Get Real India.
An RTI filed by India Today with leading Delhi government hospitals has revealed alarming gaps in critical healthcare infrastructure. The data provided shows that nearly 1 in 3 ventilators is currently non-functional across major hospitals, including the Maulana Azad Medical College and the Lok Nayak Hospital. According to the Right to Information response that covers 297 ventilators installed across MAMC, Lok Nayak, Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Lal Bahadur Shastri and Sushrita Trauma Centers, 92 of them are non-functional. That is 31% of the total.
Non-functional ventilators at the Delhi government hospitals. Out of these, 70, more than 70 are at Lok Nayak Hospital itself, including those in anesthesia and child care departments. A ray of hope is certainly visible in hospitals such as Deen Dayal Upadhyay, where 25 out of 25 emergency ventilators are in working state, while in Lal Bahadur Shastri Hospital, only 1 out of 13 ventilator is non-functional.
A particularly concerning finding is the number of ventilators provided under PM Cares during the pandemic which are non-functional. At least 41 of these are non-operational. Some wards have entire sets of PM Cares ventilators out of service. For instance, in Ward 32 of Lok Nayak Hospital, none of the 20 ventilators are working, and in Ward 31, none of the 8 are functional. The Aam Aadmi Party, which is in power till February, has pinned the blame on the BJP government.
जनता चारों तरफ से चिल्ला रही है कि आज हॉस्पिटलों की दुर्दशा जिस लेवल पे पहुंची है कि लोगों को अपने मरीजों को लेकर दर दर भटकना पड़ रहा है और कोई पूछने वाला नहीं है, कोई सुनने वाला नहीं है, कोई बोलने वाला नहीं है। तो ये एक दर्दनाक स्थिति है।
The Delhi government disputed the RTI response.
टोटल 74 हमारी LNJP में वेंटिलेटर्स हैं। उस वेंटिलेटर्स में से 69 हमारे काम कर रहे हैं। ये RTI को कैसे मैं आपको सत्यता बताऊं, लेकिन हमारे हॉस्पिटलों के अंदर जब आपने मुझे बताया तो मैंने चेक भी करवाया कि ऐसी कोई भी कमियां, मैं एक दो वेंटिलेटर की बात नहीं करूंगा, कहीं भी किसी भी हॉस्पिटल में कमी नहीं है, सब वेंटिलेटर एक्टिव मोड पे हैं।
So are ventilators functional or not? The reply to the RTI has put a question mark on the Delhi government's healthcare facilities. With Ashok Kumar Upadhyay, Dolly Chingakam and Amit Bhardwaj, Bureau Report, India Today.
Thanks very much then for joining us. Just think about it. Is the RTI that we put out giving the right details, or is the government minister doing so? I'll leave you, the viewers, to decide. We will continue to investigate that story as we will do more. Get Real India is our big message there. Thanks for watching. Stay well, stay safe. Good night, Shubhratri. Jai Hind. Namaskar.